Welcome back to our channel. In this video, we'll be highlighting American celebrities who have passed away today and in the past few days, along with other notable figures from around the world. Before we proceed, we kindly ask you to show your love and support by giving this video a like. It truly means a lot to us. Thank you. And now, let's begin.
Before you leave me, baby.
Chip Taylor, the legendary songwriter behind the timeless rock anthem Wild Thing, has sadly passed away at the age of 86. His children, Kelly and Christiane, heartfully confirmed that Chip died peacefully in hospice care on March 23, 2026. Tragically, just 2 days after celebrating his 86th birthday. His final days were described as peaceful, surrounded by the quiet echoes of a life lived out loud. His incredible journey began in 1957, but he forever changed the landscape of music in 1966 with Wild Thing and the 1968 classic Angel of the Morning. A 2016 Songwriters Hall of Fame inductee, he was the soulful architect of melodies for legends like Janis, Joplin, and Jimi Hendrix, who famously set his guitar on fire to Taylor's chords. Chip's life was as daring as his music. In 1981, he walked away from fame to become a professional gambler for 14 years, only to make a triumphant return in 1995. Even in his final chapter, he bravely fought throat cancer in 2023, turning his struggle into a beautiful farewell with his last album, Behind the Sky, 2024. Jon Voight's younger brother and Angelina Jolie's beloved uncle leaves behind a legacy of raw truth and a spirit that never stopped chasing the next melody. His family shared that he cherished every soul he touched through his art. Rest in peace, Chip. You were truly a wild thing with a heart of gold.
Every day of the year.
Neil Sedaka, the legendary voice who taught us that breaking up is hard to do, has tragically and suddenly passed away at the age of 86. A representative for the family confirmed the devastating news, stating that the world has lost a true rock and roll pioneer. Neil died surrounded by the love of his family, including his wife of 64 years, Liba, leaving a void in the hearts of millions who grew up with his melodies. Rising from Brooklyn's famed Brill Building, Neil dominated the early 1960s with hits like Calendar Girl and his 1962 chart topper. By the time he received his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1978, he had already become a permanent fixture in the American songbook. However, Neil's greatest strength was his resilience. When the British invasion nearly silenced his solo career in the mid-60s, and he retreated behind the scenes to write for icons like Elvis Presley. Then, in 1973, a fateful meeting with Elton John sparked one of the greatest comebacks in pop history, leading to his 1974 masterpiece, Laughter in the Rain. He proved that an artist could always reinvent himself, even when the world thought his time had passed. He was an incredible human being, his family shared, echoing the sentiments of a generation. Though he officially retired in 2022, his soul remains in every note of "Love Will Keep Us Together." Rest in peace, Neil. Your music will be our soundtrack forever.
Can't be done with music alone. It takes words and music. Maybe offer.
Bob Weir, the unassuming soul and legendary rhythm guitarist who co-founded the Grateful Dead, has sadly transitioned at the age of 78. His family heartfully announced on Instagram that Bobby passed away peacefully on January 10, 2026, surrounded by his loved ones. Though he had courageously defeated cancer just months prior in 2025, he ultimately succumbed to underlying lung issues, leaving the music world in quiet mourning. His journey began in 1965, weaving a psychedelic tapestry alongside Jerry Garcia that defined a generation. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1994, Bobby was the rhythmic heartbeat behind Sugar Magnolia and Truckin', creating a musical language that invited us all to belong. Bobby's life was a long, strange trip of true resilience. And from struggling with undiagnosed dyslexia as a youth to facing the devastating void of Jerry Garcia's death in 1995, he refused to let the music die. In a final act of grit, just 1 month after his cancer diagnosis in July 2025, he returned to the stage at Golden Gate Park to celebrate 60 years of artistry, proving his soul only knew how to keep playing. His work was warm sunlight that filled the soul his family shared. Survived by his wife Natasha and daughters, Bob leaves behind a 300-year legacy for every deadhead to carry. Rest easy, Bobby. The music never stops.
I really like old music, you know,
like what
the
old?
Eagles and
Cher, the goddess of pop, the tragic glory behind the mask. Where is she in 2026? We all remember the sequins, the towering headdresses, that unmistakable deep voice that commanded the world to believe. To us, she was always the goddess of pop, an immortal figure of strength. But behind the strobe lights and the Bob Mackie gowns, there was a woman fighting a battle that would have broken anyone else. Almost 80 years of life, and yet the most painful chapters were written in the shadows, far from the cameras. As we look at her today in 2026, we see a survivor who traded her glass slippers for bandages more times than we ever knew. Before we journey through the highs and lows of this legendary soul, let's take a quiet moment together to celebrate a woman who has been a part of our lives for decades, a voice that narrated our own youth. Close your eyes and think back to the 1960s. The Sunset Strip, a young raven-haired girl with bell-bottoms standing next to a man named Sonny. When I Got You Babe filled our living rooms, it wasn't just a song. It was the anthem of our generation's rebellion and romance. Then came the 70s, the variety shows, the laughter, the way she could command a stage with just a look. She was our constant companion on Wednesday nights. And who could forget 1987, when she stood on that Oscar stage, proving to every critic that a pop star could be the greatest actress of her time. For many of us, her success felt like our success, but every eclipse begins in darkness. While we saw the diva, Cher was living a nightmare. Imagine being the most famous woman on earth, yet being so poor as a child that your mother had to drop you at an orphanage because she couldn't afford bread. Imagine going to school with rubber bands holding your shoes together. The pain didn't stop with fame. In the late 80s, at the peak of her movie career, a silent killer struck, the Epstein-Barr virus. For 2 long years, the goddess was bedridden. She couldn't brush her own hair. She felt ugly, old, and forgotten. Then came the ultimate heartbreak, the sudden loss of Sonny in 1998. The world watched her weep at his podium, a widow to a man she had already lost once before. It's in these quiet, devastating moments, the struggle to simply breathe, the grief of a lost partner, that we see the real Cher. They call her the ultimate survivor for a reason. When the world told her she was too old in her 50s, she gave us Believe. When her body failed her, she fought back with iron discipline and the support of her closest friends. She didn't find a miracle cure. She found a reason to keep standing. She embraced her evolution, even when it was difficult. Watching her navigate the transition of her child, Chaz, or the struggles of her son, Elijah, we saw a mother's heart breaking and mending in real time. She taught us that being a hero isn't about never falling. It's about how you look when you get back up. Today, in 2026, the Malibu winds blow softly through her home. At 79, Cher is no longer running. She is reflecting. Whether she's sharing a laugh with Alexander or writing the final pages of her long-awaited memoir, she remains our North Star of authenticity. She once said, "I am the man my mother told me to marry," and she proved it. As we look at her incredible 80-year journey, we want to hear from you. We've shared so many decades with this remarkable woman. What is the one song, the one movie role, or the one memory of Cher that stays with you after all these years? Please, share your story in the comments below. Let's send some love to the woman who showed us all how to be brave. Thank you for walking this path with us today.